everybody, Dr. McGuire here. I've been enjoying reading your introductions this past week with a little bit about you and your career goals and some interesting facts about yourself. We seem to have some people doing some fascinating things like parasailing and, swimming with dolphins. How fun is that? So, because you may be wondering about some of the things you see behind me here, fun fact about me is that one of my many college degrees is in music. And in addition to being a higher education educator and administrator, I also am a working musician, and my office is also my music studio. So yeah, that's an electric guitar in the background, and you may see flutes and keyboards and that kind of thing. One thing I wanted to let you guys know, you've probably looked over the syllabus, and I didn't have in there a specific time for office hours. But if you need, and part of the reason for that is because I know we have a lot of non-traditional students in this program. And so it might be tricky finding a time that's going to work for everybody. So if you need to talk to me in real time on the telephone, just send me an email and we'll set up a time. I want to find something that'll work for you, and I'm concerned that if I put one specific time out there, you might think that that was the only time I could do it. But we'll make it work if you need to talk to me. And you know, I mentioned I have more than one college degree, quite a few actually. All told, I was in college for 21 years. Yeah, that's a long time. But let me say, the reason I tell you that is not to brag about it. In fact, sometimes I'm kind of embarrassed that I was in college that long. But it makes me look like I didn't know what I want to be when I grow up. But the reason I tell you that is because there's almost nothing in 21 years of college. There's almost nothing that could happen to a college student that didn't happen to me. You know, I had health issues. You know, I had roommate issues. I had housing issues. I had car problems. I had relationship problems. I had kid problems. My house flooded. Once I bombed a grad school exam because my cat got sick and I was in the pet emergency clinic with her all night. So my point is that I know that things happen, and you just need to let me know if something's going on with you. You know, the one thing that didn't happen to me maybe is I never had a military deployment, but I have had students who've had that happen. So you know, just let me know what's going on with you. If you're struggling for some reason, you know, touch base with me and we'll work something out. Okay. I think I said I have the first homework graded. And I tried to give everybody some individual feedback on that. And also I want to mention, I did have a few people who didn't turn in the first homework, and they need to contact me. Just let me know what's going on. Communication is key, okay? So some comments on that generally. Make sure that we're reading the question carefully, because in that question I was asking people to pick one function and describe that one function. Remember, we have the 4 functions, right? Remember the acronym PADS, right? Planning, acquisition, development, and sanction. So you were supposed to pick one and then give me some detail about that specific function and why it's important. Okay. So make sure you're reading the question carefully, right? Some folks lost some credit on that. And then the other thing is, some of you were confused about what the functions consisted of. Like maybe you hadn't read the book carefully, or maybe you were confused. And, you know, if you're confused, you need to ask questions, okay? You can message me or you can email me. There's also a section, I don't know if you noticed, there's an extra discussion section where if you're not understanding something in the material, You can post something there, and somebody else probably has the same question. So you can post your question in there. Dr. McGuire, I don't understand. Is this sanction or development? I'm not sure. Okay. And I do want to point out, the book is required. You really, really need to have the book, read the book. You're not going to get everything you need to do well in this course if you're just reading the PowerPoints. There's not enough detail in the PowerPoints. You really do need the textbook. I know, that it's can be a burden to have to purchase textbooks for students sometimes, but this particular textbook right now, because it's a previous edition to the one that they've just the newest one they've come out with, it's only $30 on Amazon, so you really do need to get it. And then the other comment I had is that even for folks who did who weren't confused about who got the question right, who understood the question correctly, and then who also seemed to understand the functions, just a little bit more detail. And that's why it's also important, that you have and read and refer to, the textbook when you are answering the questions, because that's where you get that level of detail. And so for this assignment, I told some folks that, some of you specifically, go out and look at table 1.1, okay? So it's the first table in chapter 1. And then table 2.3 in chapter 2. And then also pages 42 to 43 give a lot of information about these 4 functions. And it's really, really important that you understand that human resource management is not one thing. And I think that was really the point of this assignment, for you to understand that human resource management is specialized. There are specializations within it. So, for example, in a large human resource office, personnel management office, you may have one person who only does benefits, right? Who only does employee benefits, or you may have one person who only does. That's all they do, is they do training and development programs. Okay. So I think it's very important to understand that that human resource management is not just one thing, and we have these different functions within it. Okay, so I hope that the comments that I gave you individually will be helpful. And again, just let me know if you have any questions or if I can help, okay? Thanks.